Hello everybody, and welcome back to another fishing report. Today we are on the Arkansas River at the Fishing is Fun easement. My name is Michael. I'm the shop manager at UpRiver Fly Fishing. We are approaching the end of August and we've got some changes we want to talk about and bring you an update. The biggest change to address right off the bat is the change in flows. You can probably notice the river looks a little different behind me than from even a week ago. So on the day of filming today, we've seen 5 consecutive days of drawdowns from Twin Lakes Reservoir, a total reduction of nearly 400 CFS has been pulled out of the Arkansas. So we're looking at about half the volume, or even less than half the volume of water we were looking at a week ago, and that's a big difference. So let's talk about that a little bit. With this drop in flows, it's really nice for the wade angler. Makes things much more accessible. I could wade across the river here in a number of spots and fish every little spot that I wanted to. Makes float fishing a little more difficult. That being said, our guide service is still running float trips every day. We just have to be more selective with the spots that we float. And so we are in the Salida area and down into the Bighorn Canyon for all of our float trips right now. The wade fishing in Buena Vista and all the way upstream to Leadville remains very good. And there's a few less people around, and it's a really nice time to get out. We're just coming through a very hot spell of weather. A lot of sunny days like today. We've even seen high 80 degrees, almost 90 degrees in Buena Vista, which is pretty uncommon. And that happened right on top of the dropping flows. So, you know, things have been challenging here for the last few days. Now, when you're watching this video, the weather has changed significantly. We're hoping that we've seen a few days of rain and good cloud cover and some much cooler temperatures. So with that change in the weather, with the flows being stable now, the fish will have had time to adjust to their new lies, and that cooler weather will hopefully keep the water a little bit cooler, keep the trout happier, and we think the outlook is pretty good going into early September. For flies and tactics and terminal gear right now, I did the best on this outing on a single size 18 CDC pheasant tail, one of our favorite flies on the Arkansas River or any western river. I brought 2 rods with me. I know a lot of people don't like to do that. Therefore, I think a dry dropper setup is the most effective. It's gonna allow you to fish that more shallow riffle water. It's time to think about sizing down your dropper nymphs to size 18s and maybe even 20s. We can use smaller beads at these low flows. We don't need that heavy bead to necessarily plummet straight to the bottom. You'll get hung up a lot more with those heavy bugs. So consider your 5X, your 6X fluorocarbon tippet down to that dropper nymph. Smaller flies tend to do better this time of year, and don't skip that shallow riffle water. That's the main thing I want to stress. It's mid-morning now. I just finished fishing for a little while. I'm sure you're seeing some of that footage. I started in a really slow, deep run It's kind of technical because there's all these eddies that want to pull your line in different directions. It can be challenging to get a good drift. I didn't do very well in that water type. I think I could have switched over to an indicator and 2 nymphs and really got my depth down and probably pulled some fish out of there, but instead I was sticking with the hopper dropper, trying to see if that was going to be effective for me. And long story short, I just didn't change my rig very much, and therefore I didn't do too well in that water type. As I worked upstream to the water you're looking at behind me, I decided I was going to switch over to the tight line Euro nymphing rig with a single nymph and about 3 feet of 6X tippet, and just pick all that pocket water and riffles and little drop-offs and everything. That's the water type I really like to fish. And I did much better up there. So we still are finding a lot of fish in that quicker moving riffle water. It can be quite shallow. That's the well oxygenated water that is getting delivered to the fish at a fast rate. So there's still a lot of fish in that water type, and that's where I caught most of my fish on this particular outing. As we look forward to the end of the week and through the weekend, there's a lot of fishing opportunities. The alpine lakes are still fishing pretty well, and we expect that to be the case into mid and late September, where that cold weather is going to start to set in the high country before we know it. So if you're interested in a trip like that, you better make it count in the next month or so. The Arkansas River, as I said, the wade fishing is awesome on the upper Arkansas. You're not going to see any boats or anything, and much fewer anglers around as well. Another thing that's right around the corner is fall fishing on our stillwater reservoirs over in South Park. Big trout are going to start moving a lot more and feeding once again. We've already had some pretty good reports lately, and that's only going to pick up as we move through September and into October. So that's something to look forward to as well. We will be guiding walk wade trips year round. So as always, come by the shop or give us a call if you need help with anything or you'd like to fish with us. We're gonna head back to the shop now. We'll show you this pheasant tail and some other hot flies to consider fishing right now.